Good morning, I'm Alice.
And I'm ZeQi.
Welcome to Furen News. Bring your eyes on the latest news of Singapore and Furen International School. Starting from 29th August 2022, mask wearing is no longer required in indoor settings, except for settings where essential services are carried out, in enclosed and crowded areas, and which are frequently used by vulnerable people. Mask wearing remains optional in outdoor settings. Some of the still mask required areas are all indoor premises of hospitals and polyclinics, inclusive of retail, F&B, common areas and other facilities within, private primary care and dental facilities, specialist facilities, TCM clinics, renal dialysis centers, clinical and radiological laboratories, day hospices, residential care homes, COVID-19 care facilities, testing centers and vaccination centers, as well as on emergency ambulances and medical transport vehicles, MRT and LRT and public buses, and indoor public transport facilities such as boarding areas within bus interchanges and MRT platforms.
Though mask-free is one of the most glaring signs of life return to pre-COVID days, many Singaporeans are not quite keen to ditch it yet. When being asked about, two reasons stand out. First, the need to continue taking precautions to safeguard their own health. And second, not wanting to fall ill and endanger the health of close family members. For instance, real estate agent Q Sing, 57, said he had no plans to stop wearing a mask when he was indoors. He said, "I still plan to wear a mask indoors. I cannot afford to get sick, as I'm a self-employed person." Similarly, graphic designer Yung Chong-hong, 46, was in no hurry to quit wearing a mask. The Sengkang resident said, "I will still be wearing mask. It is the responsible thing to do to protect family and friends. I will remove the mask only when I need to drink or eat." Likewise in Sengkang, most shoppers at the Compass One Mall were seen wearing their mask, as well patrons queuing up at a Kopitiam Square food center across the road. Shoppers with masks on were also in the majority at Waterway Point Mall in Punggol. Still, there were a small number of people at the mall who had opted to embrace the freedom of not wearing a mask.
Well, actually, many of the students in our school are still reluctant to let go of the protection that's been imprinted on us for the past 2.5 years. Like me, I personally is accustomed to it and integrated mask wearing into part of my daily life. But also there are people like our photographer here who couldn't wait to get rid of his mask when the policy was launched. Now we'll be interviewing 3 other students from Furen International School regarding their opinions of mask wearing.
一方面是因为防护，因为虽然说现在疫情已经全面放开了，然后新加坡的很多政策也觉得大家都不需要戴口罩了，但是对于我来讲，不管在什么情况下，我都更倾向于把自己放在一个更安全的状态。所以为了保护自己，也为了保护他人，我觉得戴口罩还是很有必要的。另一方面也是因为在很多情况下，女孩子都会出现一些或多或少的面部瑕疵。我并不愿意把我过多的精力和时间投入在消除这些瑕疵方面，所以我觉得戴口罩对于我来讲也是一种对自己提升自信的一种方法。
我觉得对于我来说，可能更多的还是因为要防护吧。就是说，在新加坡，你出去转一圈，随便上哪里一个地方，然后就是得过新冠的人比你选择题蒙对的概率还要大。所以说，就是为了保护自己，为了保护身边的人，还是要戴好口罩。
我个人戴口罩的主要原因还是因为觉得戴上口罩比较安全。因为据目前数据来看，感染新冠的人数已经有 6.09 亿，已经死亡了651万人口，比新加坡总共的人数还要多。新加坡呢，目前也有186万人感染，我觉得这个感染率高于 1%， 属于是有点高了。所以说个人还是觉得戴上口罩比较安全一点。虽然说目前看来好像没有什么后遗症，但是据说灌的次数太多，脑子会变笨。
For this year's Mid-Autumn Festival, Gardens by the Bay have arranged exclusive decorations and events for the celebration of this heartwarming festival. Let's take a look at our co-host Alice introducing some of its highlights.
Based on the theme of reunion, this year's Mid-Autumn Festival celebrates the fundamental significance of the festival, bringing family and friends together to enjoy the beautiful lantern displays that light up the gardens in the evenings. On top of the fringe activities during the weekends, live outdoor stage performances and a marketplace will also make its way back this year, creating a vibrant atmosphere to celebrate this Mid-Autumn festivities. Its opening hours starts from the 27th of August to September 11th from 6 to 10 p.m. daily. Here we have Flight to the Phoenix. Flight to the Phoenix is inspired by the Chinese folk myth, Flight to the Phoenix. This display showcases hundreds of birds soaring towards the phoenix in honor of its generosity towards drought. The legend has it that the phoenix was originally an inconspicuous bird who had a very plain appearance, and also who tirelessly foraged and stored food for times of crisis. Later, an unexpected drought left many of the birds without any food to eat. The phoenix generously shared its food with them and saved them from starvation. To show their gratitude, the birds pulled out their most beautiful feathers, and together they made a dazzling garment and presented it to the phoenix and crowned him their king. From then on, the birds will pay homage to the phoenix every year. This highlight of the festival is known as colorful blossoms. It deems to be the king of flowers in Chinese culture. The peony is revered for its elegance and beauty, while also symbolizing wealth, love, honor, and prosperity. Inspired by the Chinese phrase 花团锦簇, which means a colorful and prosperous scene. The super tree grove is decorated with flower arc made of more than 20 lantern peonies. Don't miss the opportunity to take a photo with your loved ones under these beautiful blossoms.
You can go this way, see? Do you want to go in that way? Where the stage is? The stage is over there.
The festival is Joy's reunion. It has 12 zodiac animals surrounding a big mooncake. Since the Mid-Autumn Festival is one of the most important traditional Chinese festivals, where families gather together to enjoy lantern walks, mooncakes, and appreciate the beauty of the moon. On this night, the full moon appears at its brightest and fullest, just like the roundness of the mooncakes, symbolizes reunion. Come join the zodiac animals as they engage in various fun activities during their Mid-Autumn Festival reunion on this beautiful moonlit night. Colonnade of Lights is a vibrant showcase of some 1,000 beautiful paper lanterns created by the community. These colorful lanterns are designed and hand-painted by people from various walks of life as you enjoy a stroll around the colonnade. This community display is kindly sponsored by the Kwan Im Thon Hut Cho Temple, known for its active philanthropic work and contributions to social, educational, arts, and cultural causes. Delivery platform Foodpanda has laid off some members of its Singapore staff due to a critical need to reduce costs and move to profitability to remain competitive. In response to CNA's queries on Wednesday, September 7th, Foodpanda said its parent company Delivery Hero is looking to become EBITDA positive, a term that refers to being profitable at an operating level. As such, has made the painful decision to downsize some teams. A Foodpanda spokesperson declined to specify how many employees were affected by the move or which roles they had held. However, tech news outlet Deal Street Asia reported last week that about 5% of the company's Singapore-based teams were retrenched. It quoted an employee as saying that the company's Asia-Pacific CEO, Jacob Sebastian Angel, had addressed employees in July, during which he said the business was not doing well and embraced staff members for upcoming cost-cutting measures. In its statement, Foodpanda said it is supporting impacted employees to help them through this transition through employee assistance programs and extended insurance and benefits.
Foodpanda currently operates in 11 markets across Asia. The Deal Street Asia report added that about 150 people, or 20% of its staff in the Philippines, were also laid off. It also cited a source in Thailand who said that Foodpanda's Thai managing director had announced job cuts to the local team that week. The job cuts some less than 2 months after Foodpanda opened its regional headquarters in Singapore, located at Robinson Road. It also opened a tech academy offering more than 200 courses, covering areas such as finance and digital skills, which are available to riders for free or at a discounted rate. Last year, it also announced that it will scale down operations in Germany and announced that it plans to divest its Foodpanda Japan business. According to a statement on the company's website, the decisions were made to shift its resources to highly attractive growth opportunities in other markets and new verticals, such as quick commerce.
On September 1st, 11:45 a.m., crowds and crowds of students swarmed into the second floor library to participate in the event. To enter the event, vouchers are needed to be purchased at the ticket station, the first booth among entrances. $1 Singapore for a $1 voucher. Both cash or pay now transfers were accepted for purchasing the vouchers. Upon walking into the event, students were in charge of different booths, with their activities either snacks or games displayed at the table. We had interviewed a handful of students who are either booth owners or solely participants.
In addition to that, we luckily had a chance to talk to the teacher of the initiator CCA, Mr. Diego, where he gave us a sneak peek of the behind the scenes of the business CCA preparing for the fundraising.
So thank you first for saying yes to our interview.
I had no choice. It's okay.
So this interview, we just want to get into the inside of how the business CCA prepare for the fundraising. So how much time did the students spend for the preparation?
So the students had about a month, a little bit over a month to prepare. The process started inside the CCA as a brainstorm. So first we did overall general brainstorm of what was the fundraising, what was it for, how did it happen, and we use examples of the previous case of the fundraising that we did. And eventually the students divided themselves in groups, smaller groups, so they could start realizing their own idea of what they would do for the fundraising.
What was the division of labor like? Did different groups have different tasks? Were some of them in charge of printing out the voucher? Were some of them in charge of going to buy the snacks? Or?
Well, for many of them, it was the first time trying to do this type of activity. Mm-hmm. So the division of the class in smaller groups was important because at the beginning they felt a little bit overwhelmed with the responsibility. So once they divided themselves in smaller groups, inside the groups they decided themselves which was the role each of them would take in their own activity. So for example, as you saw, there were some groups that decided to cook. So some of them were in charge of getting the food, some of them were in charge of the packaging, some of them were in charge of just making the food itself. But other groups didn't have that because they were more like services, for example, playing games. So the process was different for them. So in that case, for example, in the chess example, some of them were just preparing like the rules to pass to other students, some other was in charge of getting the game set itself. So it was different experience for the different students. And for the printing of the vouchers and so, we had our own CCA leader, which is Lee Natalie. And she prepared the soft copy for all of this, and she had experience also in the previous fundraising. So she knew more or less what was needed for this case, and she passed it to me, because I have the access for the printer, so I printed for her, and eventually we just together did that.
I see.
Yeah.
So how was the after fundraising process like? How did you guys count the money you made, and how did each CCA keep track of the amount that they made?
Okay, so for each small group, they had a list basically where they would record every time that they would sell something or to receive any donation, they would record it on this paper. And that would be backed up by the vouchers they would give us back. So that was done immediately after the fundraising was over. And that was collected by our president, Natalie Liton. After that, she would compare the number of vouchers versus the information that they recorded. That was all compiled, and then we would match it with the numbers that we have in cash and the money that we receive on online payments. The numbers should be the same. So we did the process together, Natalie and myself, and that's how it worked.
I see. So since the fundraising was for the Thailand trip, many of us thought that it was actually for the trip itself, but you said that it was not the case.
That's right. So the fundraising is not to help our students to go. The students going there is actually their own initiative to go. So we are not like collecting money for them to go. It's their own initiative, and as such, they bear the whole cost by themselves. So the money that we raise in the fundraising actually is for a donation for an elephant sanctuary. So all this money that we collected will go directly to the fundraising to help the elephants in their daily cares. So either just protecting their environment or helping educating the community around them, and so it will not go. The students will not see that money. No. The elephants will see it in form of, I don't know, more peace of mind and bananas, I guess.
So how much money did we make in total after the project?
It was over $800 in total.
Okay, was that something within our expectation, or did that exceed?
It was more or less within the expectations. The previous fundraising collected about $1,000, but there were more students doing it. So we kind of expected somewhere between like $1,800. So it was over $800. So it was within our expectations.
Okay. Thank you so much for the interview.
After graduating from the Department of Engineering of the National University of Singapore, with a full GPA, Su Haotian, a Furen alumni, has successfully obtained the offer of direct doctoral degree from many universities in the United States, including Stanford University, Princeton University, Yale University, California Institute of Technology, and Carnegie Mellon University. In the end, he accepted the offer at Stanford University, close to Silicon Valley and the academic center of the Western United States, to pursue a PhD in science and technology. On September 9, 2022, Hao Tian shared and answered questions about the academic and future career development related to science and engineering, as well as how to study efficiently during the undergraduate period. He also focused on providing advice for students who are eager for doctoral engineering degrees. How he able to get 5.0 GPA in NUS? First, we need to know our goal very well. Secondly, set a high goal for ourselves. Not only aim for A, but A+. Lastly, control our study time wisely. For example, communicate with your teacher, lecturer, and tutor to clarify anything you do not understand immediately after the class. Of course, many of our students are looking forward to the university life, as it contains plenty of CCA, for example, film, game design, and hiking. However, he thinks that we need to clearly understand what we should do in the future. He only attended one club in his 4 years of uni life, but he was able to become the president of his club. Hence, he said that if you plan to do something, make sure you work it to the best. The second question for Su Haotian is why he chose electricity engineering. During the Q&A section, there was one student asking him why he chose electricity engineering. He said that electricity engineering is not only about studying electronics and chips, it is also related to computer knowledge, so it covers a wide area of studies. However, he says that students who are interested in computer courses are afraid to choose due to its competitiveness, and can choose to join electricity engineering first, as it also covers the areas about computers. He also said that it is able to study different courses in the future and work in different directions as well. Hence, electricity engineering is a very considerable course. Finally, good luck to all of you. I hope you get into your dream university.
The IELTS Masterclass will be for students aiming for an IELTS band score of 6 or above. Includes practical advice on how best to maximize your IELTS score, helps you understand the IELTS assessment criteria, and will provide guidance on how to avoid common mistakes.
Writing workshop will help fulfill your migration or study goals, improve your understanding of the questions, identify key points, make your answers relevant, and organize your answers in a more coherent manner.
This concludes the first episode of Furen News series. Thanks for staying with us.
We hope everyone is in good condition and wish you a good day ahead. We will see you next time.